going on, Jerome's? I don't know what's going on with the weather here in the Twin Cities. It's like raining again, but it's like dark. It's like darkness. But Minnesota Vikings and the relationship with Adam Jerome, Ezekiel Thielen. I will remember you. Yes, everyone knows the story. Detroit Lakes, Mankato State University Community College, $500 scholarship. UDFA, practice squad, working his way up. Special teams, eventually became a Pro Bowl caliber receiver for the Vikings, and he's a legend, blah, 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 all that stuff. And the Carolina Panthers receiver currently working out this offseason with J.E. McCarthy, future franchise quarterback. Now, you could say, well, it doesn't mean anything. Players work out together all the time. But if you're a Thielen, you could have any quarterback in the state of Minnesota throw to you. I mean, Mitch Ladner's not doing anything. Tanner Morgan, I'm sure, is around. But you specifically pick J.J. McCarthy, future quarterback of the Vikings. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. And even before the Jordan Addison incident, a lot of people, myself included, have talked about how the Vikings maybe need to look to add some wide receiver depth to the squad. And it's too picturesque. Like, it's like Randy Moss returning. It's like Torrey Hunter returning. It's like KG returning. Could Adam Thielen come back to the Vikings to add some much needed veteran leadership as well as red zone prowess? It's possible. It's possible, man. Now, we've been spitballing the idea. It's sort of a fun idea. It makes too much sense, but this is starting to get a little bit of traction, a little bit of teeth. Friends, Purple Persuasion put this together. Blah, 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 Thielen. Ben Goessling talking on K-Fan, quote, this is Goessling. Adam Thielen is still under contract in Carolina, but he's been working out with J.J. McCarthy, and if he ends up getting cut in Carolina, I guess I wouldn't be stunned by that. I mean, it certainly would make some sense for him to come back, and I think the Vikings would have some interest in that if it ever were to come up. I think the relationship is such that maybe that it would come up. It would come up. That could be an option for him at some point. Now, I fully understand. There's a lot of Vikings fans that sort of hold the ending of the Thielen and Vikings relationship against Thielen. Things were said. I mean, his wife definitely said some things on social media. But, you know, in the heat of the moment, you got to give a little bit of grace. And, you know, time does heal all wounds. And it's a spot where Thielen felt underappreciated. You know, the Vikings cut his contract, as well as he wasn't getting the work that he thought that he deserved. And last year, he got paid by Carolina. He even has guaranteed money this year. Great job by his agent. And also, he got that work. But Carolina, there's some sea change going on. Dave Canlis is now in as the new head coach. There's a lot of change with the franchise, and he probably qualifying, probably won't have the same role as last year. And with the Vikings, like we said, even before the Addison incident, the Vikings coulda, shoulda, woulda be looking for some wide receiver depth. And also, I think it's a spot now, since time has passed, and Thielen got another mini bag, that he could accept a role as a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, veteran leadership, red zone target, versus, hey, I'm the man. I need to be a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. I think that he's starting to realize maybe that's not what it's going to be, right? And after he got cut, of course, he signed with the Panthers, saying that there's a real chance they could win the Super Bowl in the near future. Now, Thielen, a couple weeks ago, or last week, he talked about how he had interest in the Chiefs, but the Chiefs didn't have interest in him. Now, I think what that was is he had interest in the Chiefs. The Chiefs did not want to pay him what the Panthers were willing to pay him, and he did get some pretty decent cash, 3-year, $25 million deal with $14 million of it guaranteed, which is pretty damn good for a player at 34 years young. Took his talents to Carolina, thought that they could win a Super Bowl. I don't know, but last year, respect. Thielen had himself a mini career renaissance, had 103 catches for 1,014 yards, 4 touchdowns on 137 targets. The 137 is the most targets that he's had in the last 5 years, going back to 2018. Now, here's the thing. If people expect, it's like, well, why are you bringing back Adam Thielen, blah, blah, blah. And if people expect him to turn back into 2017, 2018 prime Pro Bowl, second-team All-Pro receiver Adam Thielen, you're going to be disappointed, because he ain't that anymore. But is he a guy that can get 70 targets, majority of them in the red zone, and put up some decent numbers, as well as adding some veteran leadership and stability? Yes, He absolutely could and should be that. And like we said, in Carolina, there's been a sea change in ownership, not ownership, in coaching. Dave Canlis is now in the building. He has no ties to Adam Thielen, as well as they went hard in the paint, trading for Deontay Johnson, drafting Xavier Leggett in a trade-up to get him in the first round. And he could be the odd man out. Adam Thielen certainly could. Plus, like we said, his contract does have guaranteed money this year. $4.5 million of his $5.5 million base salary is guaranteed. The Panthers have only $6 million in cap space, which is fourth least in the league. And even though he's already been paid out a roster bonus of $2 million, which will be on the Panthers' books no matter what, the Panthers could be looking to offload that contract, and if they cut him, they could save $1 million in cap space, but the $4.5 million is still guaranteed, but it would offset by whatever his new team would sign him for. So the Vikings could play that waiting game and let the $4.5 million go, sign him to the league minimum, and then Carolina could do it that way. Or the Vikings could get ahead of this thing and just go get him now, because even though Thielen does have a year in the Kevin O'Connell offense, getting some chemistry with Darnold and or McCarthy, even though he's already got a little bit, would make some sense. And the Vikings could be without Hockenson to start the season. He could start out on the PUP. Addison could potentially be suspended by either the league or the team. And it would be important to have some supplementary weapons to go with Justin Jefferson. Now, I fully understand. Ideally, Powell, Naylor, Jackson, Sherfield, someone else steps up, but also all that could be in conjunction. You could bring Thielen in to sort of hold down the fort and be that guy in the red zone, as well as some other guys could step up. All these things could happen at once. And our initial trade proposal from last week or 2 weeks ago, where the Vikings, basically it's a pick swap, a 5th rounder for a 6th rounder. Vikings pay Thielen's salary and Carolina saves $8.25 million in cap. It's going to cost you, Chief. Now, I think with that we could potentially pull off a Brock Osweiler Texans to the Browns type deal, where say the Vikings send a 2025 7th rounder, Carolina sends a 2025 5th rounder, so they send even more draft capital and the player to the Vikings for less draft capital. And now why would the Vikings be able to pull that off? Because they would be able to they would be willing to pay Thielen's full salary and free up Carolina's cap space. I don't think any other team in the league would be willing to do that, because there's some very unique circumstances here what makes Adam Thielen valuable in Minnesota. And if the Panthers cut him, no one's going to pick him up off of waivers, so that ain't going to happen. So basically, the Vikings will be paying $4.5 million for an upgrade from a 7th-round pick to a 5th-round pick, and which is probably going to be a high 5th-round pick because Carolina. So that's where we're at right now. And also, it would just be the best final act for Adam Thielen, the movie. By the way, Jake Gyllenhaal, in the Apple TV show Presumed Innocent, very good. His performance is great. The character is thoroughly unlikable. Like, there's no one likable in that show, which is kind of great. Also, Apple TV, any show that you pick on Apple TV is going to be good. They've been batting almost 1,000 there. It's pretty damn good. But either way, I feel like things are lining up, and it makes too much sense for them not to potentially kick the tires and light the fires. So, and again, I said this in the dump video. If there's a place where you could find that offers odds on Adam Jerome, Ezekiel Thielen being a Viking this year, maybe a jelly bean or two. I don't know, man. But that's it. That's it. Some interest in Thielen? Question mark. Let us know your thoughts on our thoughts in the comment section below. You guys know what to do. Skol, production value.